What's up, guys? BioPrepPV here, and today we are going to go ahead and continue with the FlightOne with the RevoltOSD. We're going to go ahead and connect it up to the FlightOne Configurator. We're going to go ahead and set it all up. So let's go ahead and get into the computer and show you guys what you need to download, where to download it, and then how to set up your quad pretty much in FlightOne. All right, the first thing you want to go ahead and do is go over to flightone.com and then go over to the downloads page. And then you want to go ahead and right here is the client or the configurator. Download the one for your computer and install it to your hard drive. So I already went ahead and did that. So I'm going to go ahead and get to it right here. All right, so once you open up FlightOne, you're pretty much going to say waiting for device. So get your USB out and plug it into the flight controller. Looks like loading failed. Please make sure you have installed the latest version of FlightOne. So it's going to want us to go ahead and update the firmware. So we go OK. And we want to update the firmware here. So we're going to click on Update Firmware. I'm going to click on that. Hit confirm. And looks like it's putting in a DFU and everything else. Yeah, it's flashing it all up. And then you have these troubleshoots right here. If DFU mode's not working, and also if you just want to not update and just go to set it up. So that's really neat. So far it's pretty easy. Kind of explains to you right away what to go ahead and do. All right, firmware successfully flashed. All right, I'm connecting right back to it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and set it up. That's actually really cool. It's never been set up. Using a crossfire receiver. Yeah, I am. Choose your ESC. I am using a BHeli32 ESC. I do not. No. Hit done. Alright, so after you're done flashing the flight controller, now you should be at this screen. One big thing is make sure you hit expert mode because there's some extra features that I believe that everyone might want to use. So the first things first, we want to go ahead and go to setup, and we want to go ahead and set up our flight controller. So this is like the main setup of everything, and you just launch these wizards and it sets up a lot of things automatically, which is really kind of cool for FlightOne. So let's go ahead and click on this one. And we plan on using this quad mostly for racing. This is a racing quad. If you're using a freestyle quad, then go ahead and use the freestyle one. And click next. And it's going to go ahead and install those there. And this is a 5-inch quad, so we're going to do that. And now it's asking me to put the quad on a flat surface. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. And this is very reminiscent of Pegasus and from Helio, which is not around anymore. And then it's asking me to put on its nose. So this is pretty much aligning the accelerometer up in the board alignment. All right, so it's done. So that's all done, and it says completed when that's done. And then see, mine says completed because I already did this, and I wanted to make sure I have the right information. So just kind of follow along with me, and I'm just going to kind of go over every single one. And then we're going to go ahead and do the receiver. Make sure your radio's on, and make sure your radio is bound to the receiver, transmitting and at least 10 feet away. It's not 10 feet away, but it should be okay. So I'm going to click next. And see, let's see here, automatic radio detection succeeded. All right, and then I believe that's done. All right, and then we're gonna set up our radio. Now the radio setup, I'm not gonna go into how to set up your switches and all that. I do have a separate video for Tyrannus that I did it on, and I'll leave that down in the link below to setting up your radio and setting up your switches on a new model. So after this, or if you want to cut to that, if you're actually using this as a guide, go ahead and watch that if you haven't had your radio set up yet, and then we can go ahead and move on to step 3, radio. Set up radio. So I'm going to launch that wizard. And then we're going to go ahead and click next. Move the sticks in complete circles a few times and just do that here. And when you're doing this, don't jam them, just kind of move it, you know, like you would if you were flying. Like at the endpoints, just don't like push it, because you don't fly like that and it'll mess up kind of the calibration at the end, so don't do that. All right, so now we're gonna put the throttle at idle and click next. All right, now it's asking me to put my yaw stick right. Now push my stick to the top, the right. And then we want to go ahead and set a disarming switch. So I'm at disarmed right now. Then we're going to go ahead and click it in the armed position. All right, and we got our arming switch set up. And it's all done. Now we can go ahead and calibrate our ESCs. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. I have removed my props and disconnected the battery. Yes, I have. All right, now this is a plug in the battery. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. All right, press OK. All right, yep, that's all done. Click done. And then we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery again. And then we're gonna go to fix motor direction and idle. We can go ahead and do that real quick. And this is really, I like the interface of FlightOne. I wish Betaflight would kind of adopt some of this into theirs. All right, I need to connect the battery up real quick. All right. Setting idle at 5%. Are the motors spinning? Nope, they are not spinning yet. Setting idle at 7%. About all four of them are spinning, but not spinning like, they're kind of like glitching. And I'll say that no, since it's saying spinning, it's means spinning, not like pausing for a second and then going. So I'm gonna click no. And then 10% should do it. Yep, now they're all spinning. Yes. All right, so which motor is spinning? Mine's right there. Next. That one's spinning, I believe. Yes, it is. And this one's spinning. This is really awesome. I like how this thing sets up your quad. Like if you don't know nothing, just getting in this hobby, this thing really gets you set up pretty decently, I would say. Had some issues when I first set it up, but that was my own error because I used Betaflight for so long that this makes it a lot easier. So now it's asking you to start the motors and to see which ones we reversed or not. So let's start them up. Let me see. So this one is a no. Oh yeah, that's number 1 is right. Number 4 is wrong. And my number, and that one's not spinning. Okay. No. So let me go ahead and go back real quick because not all my motors are spinning. So that means I need to raise my throttle up again. So let me go ahead and go back to this one. So if all the motors aren't spinning, you need to go ahead and do this again and probably go higher than 10%. Are all motors spinning? No. Sorry about that. Are all motors spinning? No again. They are all spinning, but I'm gonna click no. All right, well, I guess we'll just do 10%. So we'll just leave that alone. I know it works because I've flew in this quad already. So just want to make sure everything is working. So are your motors spinning? No. We're just going to do 10%. And I'll just spin the motor manually. Are all motors spinning? No, not yet. We're just going to say yes on this one. Yes, they are spinning. All right, now we're at this section. Check your spinning direction. So pretty much what we want to do is it's going to spin the motor, and it's going to, you want to make sure it's following this diagram here. So it's spinning that way, this one's spinning that way, and that one's spinning that way. So we're going to go ahead and do start motors. And let's see, I'm checking right now to make sure they're all spinning the right way. So that should be back, they should go to the left. Let's just click yes, because you're all right, so they're all spinning in the right direction. Wizard's done. And then once you're done with that, and if it's not spinning the right direction, you just click on no, and then it'll just say reverse whatever one it is, and then you're pretty much good on that one. And then we can go ahead and set up our modes. So these are switches, and it's pretty easy. As pretty much you just want to pick a few of these. So they have launch control, they have VTX channel, race level. I typically just use like this one right here, Quopa. This is the flip over after crash, kind of like turtle mode in Betaflight. So this one will be good to use. And then we have motor beep. And we also have buzzer. Let's go ahead and show you how to set up just use it real quick. So you want to click on this, set up your motor beep, switch to off. So it is off right now. And then we'll put it to on position. Not to hold it since it's a momentary switch. And that's pretty much it. And it's going to keep doing that over and over again. So I'm going to have to disconnect the battery. So let me remove the battery. And actually, you could have removed the battery after too. You remove the other part. So I'm going to remove the battery. And then that's pretty much how you set your switches. So just look at these to find out which one exactly you might want. This one might be helpful because you have to hold the sticks inwards and down for the OSD menu. This might actually help you out. Let's go here and get out of here. Now this is where you can do spectrum. I don't have a spectrum receiver. I'm using a crossfire receiver. And then they have, you know, shows your radio data and all that stuff down here. If you need to check your spinning or direction, idle motors right down there. You can test your motors and get their noise score, which can be used to diagnose a bad motor, which is really neat. So there's a lot of helpful diagnostic things down here as well. So let's go ahead and go down to the telemetry page. This pretty much just shows you, like if I move the quad around, you can see the gyro and the accelerometer moving. So that's what that's for. Now the configuration page right here. So you can put your pilot name right here. Viper FPV is what I have there. I don't like double arm. Double arm makes you like arm twice in order for it to arm. I don't like it. That's not how I have it in Betaflight. So I've disabled that. I believe this comes enabled when you first flash it. Then you also have your OSD, and you can change your OSD fonts and all that. I like this one. This is my favorite. All right, and then you want to go ahead and configure OSD. You can do that right here. And this is how I have my OSD set up. One thing I do need to do is that I noticed that like it's not correct on how it's lined up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just move some things around real quick here. And what you do is actually you have to click on this, click like pilot name, I want that there. And then you have to take this and then remove none. So this is how you do it. I like kind of like the drag and drop method. That's how I liked it. RSSI, I'm actually going to remove it because I need to put that on. To get RSSI working, you have to have it on channel 8 on your receiver. Well, I use the same model for all of my quads that run Crossfire, and I actually have it on channel, I believe it's on channel 12, I believe. not positive, but I know it's not on channel 8, so it's not showing the right RSSI. So let me go ahead and I'll just remove that. I need to remove that, like I said, click on the box, click none, and click select. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to switch some of these things around here to the top of the screen. So I have my voltage. I'm going to go ahead and move that over to the left up here. So voltage will go right over here. Actually, I want a voltage per cell. So I'm going to get the voltage per cell, which is... Where is it? I know I'm looking at it. Wow, there it is. It's brain fart. And then arm time, I like to have that just to see how long I'm flying for. Which is right there. I'll just put that over there. I usually have my stuff on the bottom, but... And then we're going to click these none. And you can play around with it, different ones as you want, and click save. And then you pretty much are done. You'll see none there, but then next time you go into it, it will not be there again. So I'll click on configure layout. See, now it's missing. So that's how you pretty much set it up. And this is where you can go ahead and change your voltage offset if your voltage is not showing right on your battery to what you're seeing in the OSD. You can go ahead and change that here. This is where my radio settings are, crossfire, receiver pin 2, and then we also have motor idle percentage right there where you can set it. Now we have crossfire telemetry on this stuff. Do not, unless you have the crossfire telemetry on TX3, don't. If you click on any of this stuff, your receiver just won't work. So if I clicked on that, my receiver will stop working. And then we have, this is where we have our settings for ESCs. It looks like they are recommending multi-shot, which I'm not really sure why. But I'm going to leave it alone because I want to do a flight with it and show you guys how it flies with pretty much a default tune. And then that's pretty much all. If you have LEDs, you can change that stuff over there, which I do not. So let's go ahead and go to the PID section. And this is where expert mode really kind of shines here because you don't see a lot of these options there. Now, right off the bat up here, do not click, like I clicked on Captain Vanover's tune and tried it out. My quad ran horribly. So if you want to go ahead and go with like a default, just click on default and see how it flies from there. Then you can start kind of playing around with some of these other ones first. And then this is pretty much defaults right here. And then we also have our filters. And I would recommend, strongly recommend, I don't care how many caps you have on your quad, go default. Make sure your motors are not hot. If your motors aren't hot, then you can go ahead and go to, you know, medium and then go to low. And then you can even try predictive if you're doing like a freestyle quad, which might help it fly a little better as well. So this is stuff that you're going to have to play with on your own and figure out what settings exactly you want. And I would recommend just using these already tuned filters, I guess, from FlightOne. And like I said, default first, then you can go to medium, then go to low if everything is still good. If low is, you still have cool motors, then you might be able to even tune these filters even more. But I'm not going to go into that. This is just pretty much a setting up of a FlightOne RevoltOSD. So, and this is where you can change some of the low pass filters and all that stuff right there. Now, right here is where you can do some rates. Like if you are a beginner, you can try these ones, the default rates, acro rates. That'll be more like freestyle. And then you have Schizo's rates and Sean's rates. Another little cool thing here is you can click on this right here. You have the FlightOne expo rates, low expo rates, KISS rates, and then Betaflight rates, which since I'm coming from Betaflight, this looks more normal to me. So this is what I'm going to be using. And then you just want to go ahead and set your rates up. I'll just put my rates in here real quick. 1.05. I believe this is going to be 79. No, it's only 0.79, I believe. No, this is expo, so it's going to be 0.30. 30. Real quick. So I pretty much just do 1.05. which gives you about 1,000 degrees per second of movement at the end of the stick. And it kind of gives you a really nice, I believe it's 0.79. No, 79. They have it kind of not pointed correctly. Oh, actually I have this messed up. This is 0.79. So used to doing it the other way. They have it mixed up. So 0.79, 0.79, 0.79. Expo is right. And this should be 0.05. So on my rates here, as I deflect a stick, these percentages, this is how much control I have. And then once I get to like around 60% or so, it starts really kind of going up there, but it's kind of predictive. But then once I get to about really the end of the stick travel is when I really can do those snap rolls and snap movements. So that's what I like these rates for. Just, like I said, it's 1,000 degrees per second with 30% expo. On my racing quads, actually, I do that's my freestyle rates. And then what I just do a little tiny bit is I just change this down to 77, which gives you about 150 or so degrees per second less on the end. But it's a little bit more linear than the other one. I mean, this is a little small change. I also sometimes even go expo 0.40, but it depends on the quad. So, but that's probably about it. I don't touch throttle curves. If you do like to play with the throttle curve, you can go ahead and do that. And then make sure you're clicking save after you do all these changes. Like I'm gonna click save here and make sure you're done there. And then we have, I believe this is the ESC motor direction where you can change that stuff. This is your black box log technically. And then this is your console. This is where you have all your CLI commands, just like Betaflight. So if you have a really good setup and then you want to flash something new, you can just do a dump, just type in dump in there and then copy, paste it to a notepad, and then you can paste it in a later time. So that brings us to the end of the video. We went ahead and set up the RevoltOSD with the FlightOne configurator, and I will have to say it's pretty easy to set up. A lot of it's automated. A lot of it helps guide you through the process. There's a lot of little guides and tips and stuff in there as you go along. But we'll go ahead and do is on a future video, I'll make a flight with me flying it around, kind of give you my thoughts, comparing it to Betaflight since I've been flying that for the past 2 or 3 years. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in another video. And by the way, there will be some links down to the RevoltOSD. If you want to go ahead and pick it up, it will help support the channel using those links. They are affiliate links. They do not cost you any more to use, but it does help me a little bit and help offset the price of purchasing all these things myself. So I'll see you guys in our future video, and peace.